Hello, you are welcome to this video. I'm going to show you how to pass your WASSCE exam. WASSCE is an examination organized by Waec, which is the West African Examination Council, for all senior high school students to pass to get into the university. WASSCE simply means West African Senior School Certificate Exams. Now, congratulations for finding this video, because this is the only video which is explaining to you how to pass your elective maths exam. In this video, I'm going to give you the best tips to pass your elective maths exam. Whether you are in your first year, second year, or you are in your final year of writing your WASSCE examination, the tips given are secrets which are not given out anywhere. These are actually secrets that students use to pass their elective maths exam. Most students complain that they are not able to finish their elective maths or mathematics papers. Now, later in this video, I'll show you how to finish your objective test as well as your section B and have extra time to go over whatever you have written. Also, I'm going to show you topics which always drop every single year, that when you study and master, you are definitely going to hit your grade A in your WASSCE. This video also contains the best strategies which are going to help you pass your WASSCE elective maths exam without going through much stress. So beginning, let's look at the sections. So we have the objective section and then the section B section. So let's look at what comprises of both the objective test as well as the section B. You have pure mathematics, statistics and probability, vectors and mechanics, and I will mention the topics which are under these mentioned. Now, how do you prepare? Now, as I always say in my videos, if you don't prepare to pass, you're actually preparing to fail. So even before I talk about the topics or the best strategies I'm going to show you, you first of all need to prepare adequately for your WASSCE elective maths. So don't just memorize formulas, know how to apply them. Almost every topic in elective maths has a trend it follows on how to solve questions or a particular formula on how to work something. So don't just memorize the formulas, know how to apply them, solve more questions and apply the formulas, so that you don't just have the formula in mind but you know how to use it. Now, solve lots of questions. I can't overemphasize this. Solve lots and lots of questions. Now, I do say that mathematics is a skill, and if you want to perfect a skill, it's about practice, constant practice, using the best strategies. You don't just practice using the wrong strategies. You make sure you have learned the thing from the teacher or from a student who is very good, and then you are using the best strategies, because you could learn it using the worst strategies and then you will always be having bad results. Now, you are not done learning a topic until you solve past questions. Very, very important. Very, very important. Any topic you think you are done with, if you've not solved past questions, I'll urge you, right after watching this video, go back and get a past question, or watch my videos on how to have access to past questions online. I'll drop the link in the description so that you can have access to them and then solve past questions on them. Practice solving full questions under 15 minutes. You know, during your exam, you are going to solve questions, and the best way to practice is to do what you are going to do during the examination. You don't solve easier questions now, or you don't pamper yourself now and then you get to the exam hall, that's where you are going to be under stress. No, practice the examination mood while you are in your comfort, so that when you get to the exam hall, you are not going to be stressed out. No areas you are falling short and ask for help. You know, most students always accept the notion that they are not good and then they just get any grade. No. Once you know the areas you are falling short, ask for help. Know the areas you are falling short and ask for help. Now, the only way you can know this is when you solve more questions. Get the past questions, because past questions are the standard, not your textbook. Your textbook is not the standard, and even sometimes what you study in the textbook might be too low or too high for whatever you are going to have in the exam. So solve past questions. Have a good night rest before the exams. We've been taught that learn or study the night before the exam. So most students do not rest, which is very wrong. Any athlete who is going for a race or competition spends time to rest his or her muscles to make himself prepared to have full energy for the competition. The same with the exam. Your mind needs to be prepared and focused so that during the examination you'll be able to think freely and then bring the best to solve the questions. Some of the questions you have to sit down and then think through them in order to be able to get the answers. So you need some time to rest. So make sure you do all the studying the earlier weeks or months before the exam. That is the best way to go about it. Not studying throughout the whole night and then just resting for an hour. There are times even when students miss the paper because they didn't get time to rest. They just decided to lie down for 30 minutes and then they couldn't get anyone to remind them when it was time, so they just slept beyond their time and then they couldn't write the paper. And what are some of the tools you need? You need a mathematical set, a fully stocked mathematical set with a protractor, the rule and everything in it, the 45 degrees rule, everything in it, as well as a calculator, a 30 centimeter rule. Although there is a short rule in the mathematical set, the reason why you need a 30 centimeter rule is because of graph work. When you use the short rule, you realize that your lines might not be straight. Looking at it, you just rule your short line and then take the short rule and then try to continue the line. Most of you don't realize that the line becomes crooked. When you use the 30 centimeter rule, you are sure that your line is going to be very straight. Now the objective test. Before I talk about the objective test, if you're a student who does not have a calculator, I will urge you to get one. Start practicing how to use the calculator, because if you've not used a calculator for a while and then you get it, you realize that it becomes a little difficult or challenging in getting used to it. So before the exam, make sure you have used it and you are used to it. You know where certain symbols or functions are to press on a calculator. Now, I mentioned to you that I'll show you how to finish the objective test before time. As we go on in a video, I'll also show you how to finish the section B before time. So how to finish before time. Solve less time consuming questions first. Now, the conventional way of solving objectives is starting from number 1, number 2, and following a trend. But let me show you a better way. No one is going to penalize you for starting from number 20 or number 25. So when you start with number 1 and realize number 1 is going to take so much of your time, switch to number 2. Just keep switching till you solve the questions which are less time consuming. Otherwise, maybe question 29, question 35, they are easier to solve. You don't need so much time, and you'll be spending time on questions which are more time consuming, and you realize that those questions which were easier for you to solve, you'll not be able to solve them. So go through all the questions, solve the ones which are less time consuming before you come to those ones which are more time consuming. That way, all the questions which are supposed to get the marks from, you get them. Know how to use a calculator to work out certain operations. Now, elective maths looks kind of scary, challenging mathematics, but I've left a link in the description to show you how to solve some operations automatically without doing them manually. So just check the link description. Now with the section B. Now the section B, we have the compulsory aspect and we have the optional aspect. With the compulsory aspect, as the name implies, you need to answer all the questions under the compulsory. And under the optional is divided into 3. We have the pure mathematics, we have the statistics and probability, and then we have the vectors and the mechanics. Now, these 3 sections I've mentioned have topics under them. These topics are topics you have to know about, so I'll mention them as I go on. So we have the compulsory. Now under the compulsory, the pure mathematics, the vectors and mechanics, and the probability questions are mixed up. Now under the optional, that's where they are grouped, and you need to follow the instructions and answer the number of questions you are told under the instruction. So under pure mathematics, you have topics like indices, logarithm, matrices, calculus, trigonometry, sets, functions, binary operations, logical reasoning, and so on. Under the statistics and probability, we have correlation and regression, permutation and combination, binomial probability distribution. And then under the vectors and mechanics, we have vectors in plane, scalar dot product, statics and dynamics. Statics and dynamics and the mechanics. And then the vectors, we have vectors in plane and then scalar product. Still with the section B. So these are the special tips under the section B you have to know if you want to get your A. Prioritize compulsory questions, because the questions, that's where the marks are. Solve questions you can solve fully first. Solve questions you can solve fully first, because as the examiner is marking, he just wants to see how the kind of student you are. So when you start and then you begin to leave spaces, at the beginning, he tends to know that no, this student is not very good. Don't spend more than 15 minutes on one question. If you realize one question is taking too much of your time, just leave it and then go to questions you can solve. Indicate units after solving a question if there is a need. Certain questions you are supposed to put the units there, like centimeters, squared, and so on. So those questions, you make sure you take note of those kind of topics or questions and then you indicate them. Questions which involve drawing should be tackled at the last part, because drawings are in such a way that you don't know the outcome. So if you do it and then you realize you've made a mistake, you have to clean it and go over and keep going over. But with the ones you just work, even there are certain questions that when you, after solving and you see the answer, you can know that no, there's something wrong with this, so you can correct it. But with drawings, they are huge and then they can really cause some trouble if you make a mistake. So here are the topics to watch out for: relation and functions, quadratic functions and equations, polynomial functions, trigonometry, differentiation, integration. Differentiation and integration is calculus, vectors, matrices, coordinate geometry, sequence and series, permutation and combination, mechanics, that is statics and dynamics. So these are the topics to watch out for, and I can assure you that if you study these topics very well, you are going to get your A. And every year questions come under these topics. Every year, every single year, since the inception of elective maths WASSCE till date, every year questions come from these. And one thing is for sure, once you study these topics very well and master them, you're going to get your A. So these are general tips. Read the instructions carefully before tackling any section, whether the compulsory, the optional, or even the objective section. Read the instructions and understand them. When drawing graph, indicate the scale and the x and y axis. The scale could be maybe 2 centimeters to 1 unit, 3 centimeters to 2 units, and so on. And then indicate your y axis and x axis, because they do give some marks. Use a 30 centimeter long rule to get a straight line. Yes. And now to the second point. Even if you are not able to draw the graph and then you indicate the x axis and y axis alone, you get marks for that. The marks are not huge, but they can push you forward a little. After calculation, indicate the quantity, the unit of the quantity that was calculated for. I already mentioned this. All drawing should be done with a pencil on a graph sheet. Don't use a pen on a graph sheet. Use pencil throughout on a graph sheet. Go over after you are done if there is extra time. Now I've shown you the strategies to help you finish your section A early, as well as to finish your section B early. So after you are done, make sure you go over to know that what you have done is accurate or is right. And clarity, it means space out your work and number very well. For example, you are supposed to number on top and don't write in the margin. Just follow those instructions so that marks could be added to whatever you have done, so that you get your A. Thank you for watching this video till the end. My name is Sir Prince. If you found this video helpful, I'll urge you to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, tap on the notification bell so that when I upload any new video, you'll be notified. Hit the like button and comment, and then I would like you to say something you've learned from this video so that when other people watch, they'll also be encouraged to also take action. Thank you once again for watching this video, and keep studying by yourself.